Hello, and welcome to today's episode of the Byte and Volts Dialogue. The Byte and Volts Dialogue is a podcast brought to you by Logical Titans. At Logical Titans, we set the standard for technology services, solutions, and training. Let us quickly jump into today's topic. Today, we'll be talking about 10 common mistakes to avoid when installing a security surveillance system. Surveillance systems have become an essential component in ensuring security for a wide range of environments. That's from homes, small businesses, large industrial facilities, and even government buildings. Data suggests that there are about 2.5 million burglaries annually in the United States alone, underlining the growing need for proper surveillance. Surveillance systems provide a means of monitoring and recording activity within a given area, allowing for the identification and response to potential threats. And as you know, there have been numerous advancements in technology, especially in the realm of surveillance systems. There have been huge developments in CCTV technologies, IP cam, thermal imaging cameras, and much more, to be honest. However, despite the importance, the installation of security systems is not always carried out correctly. So the purpose of this podcast is to discuss the top 10 mistakes that are commonly made when installing a surveillance system and how to easily avoid them. The first mistake that I'd like to highlight here today is the mistake of neglecting a site survey. A site survey is an assessment of the area in which the surveillance system will be installed. It involves evaluating factors such as the layout of the space, the potential blind spots, and the lighting conditions. This information is crucial in determining the number and placement of cameras, as well as the type of equipment that will be needed. The site survey should also include identifying any potential physical or environmental challenges that may affect the performance of the surveillance system, such as extreme temperatures, high humidity, or even dust. Neglecting a site survey can lead to a number of problems. For example, if the cameras are not placed in the optimal locations, blind spots may be created, allowing for activity to go unnoticed. Additionally, if the lighting conditions are not taken into account, the cameras may not be able to capture clear images, rendering the surveillance system ineffective. A poorly executed site survey can also result in the selection of inappropriate camera types or equipment that may not be suitable for the environment, leading to costly replacements or unnecessary upgrades.
The second mistake that I see occurs very, very often is the mistake of not considering the field of view. The field of view, or FOV, is a measure of the area that a camera can capture at any given time. It is typically expressed in terms of the horizontal and vertical angles of view, and it is determined by the lens and sensor of the camera. A wider field of view allows a camera to capture a larger area, while a narrower field of view captures a smaller area. The focal length of the lens is one of the main factors that affects the field of view. A shorter focal length lens has a wider field of view, while a longer focal length lens has a narrower field of view. The resolution of the camera also plays a role, as a higher resolution camera can capture more detail in a given area, which allows for a wider field of view. The physical positioning of the camera can also affect the field of view. The camera that's positioned closer to the area being monitored will have a wider field of view than one that is positioned further away. Additionally, the angle at which the camera is positioned can also affect the field of view. For example, a camera that is mounted at a lower angle will have a wider field of view than one that is mounted at a high angle. In conclusion, When selecting a camera for monitoring an area, it is important to consider the field of view and ensure that the camera has a wide enough field of view to cover the entire area that needs to be monitored. This can be achieved by selecting a lens with a shorter focal length, using a high-resolution camera, and positioning the camera in the right location and angle. Not considering the field of view can lead to blind spots in the coverage, meaning that certain areas may not be monitored effectively. This can result in security breaches or other incidents going unnoticed. Additionally, not having a wide enough field of view can result in the installation of more cameras than is necessary, increasing the overall cost of the system. Mistake number 4, not considering the distance of the camera. The distance of the camera to the subjects being monitored can greatly affect the performance of a surveillance system. The distance can affect the size of the image captured and the level of detail that can be seen, as well as the required focal length of the lens. When the camera is positioned further away from the subjects being monitored, the image captured will be smaller and the level of detail will be less. This can make it difficult to identify individuals or objects in the footage, especially in situations where identification is critical, such as security or surveillance systems. On the other hand, when the camera is positioned closer to the subjects, the image captured will be larger and the level of detail will be greater, making it easier to identify individuals or objects in the footage. The distance of the camera also affects the required focal length of the lens. The focal length of a lens is the distance between the lens and the image sensor when the lens is focused at infinity. A lens with a shorter focal length is considered a wide-angle lens and has a wider field of view, whereas a lens with a longer focal length is considered a telephoto lens and has a narrower field of view. When the camera is positioned farther away from the subject, a lens with a longer focal length will be required to capture a clear and detailed image, while when the camera is positioned closer to the subject, a lens with a shorter focal length will be required. Let's move on to mistake number 5, and that is the mistake of choosing the camera with an unsuitable resolution. The resolution of a camera refers to the number of pixels that make up an image captured by the camera. Pixels are the tiny dots of color that make up an image, and the more pixels that are present in an image, the more detailed and clear the image will be. When selecting cameras for a surveillance system, the resolution of the camera is an important factor to consider. The resolution of the camera should be chosen based on the size of the area that the camera will be monitoring and the level of detail required for identification. For example, if a camera is monitoring a small area such as a doorway or a cash register, a higher resolution camera may be needed to capture detailed images of the individuals entering or interacting in that area. On the other hand, if a camera is monitoring a larger area such as a parking lot, a lower resolution camera may be sufficient to capture the general activity in that area. It is also important to consider the distance between the camera and the object of interest while selecting the camera resolution. If the camera is placed far away from the object, then a high resolution camera is required to capture the details. However, if the camera is placed close to the object, a low resolution camera may be sufficient. Additionally, the purpose of the surveillance system should also be considered when choosing the resolution. For example, if the surveillance system is being used for security and identification purposes, a high resolution camera may be needed to capture detailed images of individuals for identification purposes. Choosing a camera with an unsuitable resolution can result in the need for more cameras to cover the same area, overall increasing the cost of the system as you know it by this point. The next mistake is the failure to consider the power and network connections. Power and network connections are crucial for the proper functioning of surveillance systems. Power is required to operate the cameras, network video recorders or NVR, digital video recorders, DVR, and other related equipment such as power over Ethernet, PoE injectors, switches and routers. The cameras, NVRs and DVRs are typically powered by 12 VDC or 24 VAC, that's direct current and alternating current. But some newer models are also available that are powered by PoE, which eliminates the need for separate power and network cables, right? Network connections are necessary for transmitting and storing the captured footage. The cameras are connected to a network switch or router, which then connects to the NVR or DVR for recording and storage. The NVR or DVR can be connected to a network for remote viewing and remote management, of course. It is important to ensure that the power and the network connections are reliable and capable of handling the demands of the surveillance system. Power supply should be stable and consistent with appropriate voltage and amperage. The network should be designed with redundancy and failover capabilities to ensure that the system continues to function even in the event of a network failure. The network should also be designed to handle the bandwidth requirements of the surveillance system. For example, if the surveillance system is using high-definition cameras, the network should be able to handle the large amount of data that is generated by the cameras. It's also important to ensure that the network is properly configured and secured to prevent unauthorized access and to protect the captured footage from being tampered with. Failure to consider the power and network connections can result in cameras and other equipment not functioning properly, leading to a lack of coverage or an interruption in the system. Additionally, not having a reliable power and network connection can result in loss or corrupt footage, further reducing the effectiveness of the surveillance system. The next mistake that I would like to highlight here today is the mistake of using poor data storage and retention systems. Data storage and retention in surveillance systems refer to the methods used to store and retain the footage captured by the cameras. The amount of storage required is dependent on the number of cameras, the resolution of the cameras, the frame rate at which the cameras are capturing footage, and the length of time the footage is retained. The retention period refers to the length of time that the footage is stored before it is deleted or archived. This is typically determined by regulatory requirements or organizational policies. When considering a surveillance system, it is important to consider the amount of storage required, the retention period, and the methods used for backup and archiving the footage in order to ensure that the system is able to store and retain the footage effectively. There are several methods for storing and retaining the footage, and I will highlight a few. Hard disk drives, HDD. These are traditional mechanical storage devices that can store large amounts of data. They are typically less expensive than other storage options, but are also less reliable and more prone to failure. Solid-state drives, SSD. These are newer storage devices that use non-volatile memory to store data. They are more reliable than HDDs and can access data faster, but they are also more expensive. Network Attached Storage, NAS. This is a type of storage that is connected to a network and can be accessed by multiple devices. It is typically used in larger surveillance systems and can be more scalable and flexible than other storage options. Cloud storage. This is a type of storage that is located on remote servers and can be accessed over the internet. It is typically more expensive than other storage options, but also offers more scalability and flexibility. In addition to the storage methods, it is also important to consider the methods used for backup and archiving the footage. Backups can be made to local storage or to remote locations and can be done on a regular schedule or in real time. Archiving can also be done to local storage or remote locations and can be done on a regular schedule or as needed, similar to backups. Using or utilizing insufficient or ineffective storage and retention system can result in a lack of footage available for review and analysis in the case of an incident. Additionally, not having a proper storage and retention plan can result in the loss of important footage, defeating the entire purpose of having a surveillance system in the first place. Mistake number 8. Ignoring integration with other systems. The integration of surveillance systems with other security systems, such as access control systems or alarm systems, can greatly enhance the overall security of a facility. This can be achieved through the use of software platforms that allow different systems to communicate and share data with one another. The practice can make it possible for the surveillance system to trigger other security measures, such as alarms or access control, in the event of an incident, and provide real-time information to security personnel, making it possible to respond more quickly and effectively to security threats. For example, an access control system can be integrated with a surveillance system so that when an individual uses the access card to enter a facility, for example, the identification and access level information can be automatically passed to the surveillance system. This can allow the surveillance system to display the name and access level of the individual on the camera footage, making it easier to identify and track them. Similarly, an alarm system can be integrated with a surveillance system so that when an alarm is triggered, the surveillance system can automatically display the camera footage of the area where the alarm was triggered. This can allow security personnel to quickly and easily determine the cause of the alarm and take appropriate action. Moreover, the integration can also enable the surveillance system to trigger other security measures in the event of an incident. For example, if a surveillance camera detects an individual attempting to enter a restricted area, the system can automatically trigger an alarm or alert security personnel. Furthermore, if a surveillance camera detects a fire, it can automatically trigger the fire alarm system, alerting the building occupants and activating the fire suppression system. Ignoring integration with other systems can limit the capabilities of the surveillance system and result in a lack of coordination between different security measures. This could make it more difficult to respond to security incidents and can lead to a lack of efficiency in the overall security operations. Additionally, this can make it difficult to quickly access and analyze footage in the event of an incident. Mistake number 9, not considering cybersecurity measures. Cybersecurity measures are a set of technologies, processes, and practices designed to protect computer systems, networks, and data from unauthorized access, use, disclosure, disruption, modification, or destruction. In the context of surveillance systems, these measures are essential to protect the systems from external threats such as hacking, malware, and unauthorized access.
To ensure the security and integrity of the captured footage in surveillance systems, it is essential to implement a combination of cybersecurity measures such as strong authentication and access controls, encryption, firewall and intrusion detection prevention systems, regular updates and patches, and regular testing for vulnerabilities. One of the key cybersecurity measures that can be implemented to protect surveillance system is the use of strong authentication and access controls. This includes using unique login credential for each user, implementing multi-factor authentication or MFA, and regularly monitoring and auditing access to the system. Another important measure is the use of encryption to protect the captured footage and other data stored on the system. This can include using secure protocols such as HTTPS or SSH to transmit data, and using robust encryption algorithms such as the AES to protect data at rest. Firewall and intrusion detection prevention systems, IDS or IPS, also play a vital role in protecting surveillance systems. A firewall can be used to block unauthorized access to the system, while an IDS/IPS can be used to detect and prevent intrusions in real time. Additionally, it is important to regularly update and patch the surveillance system and its components to prevent known vulnerabilities from being exploited. This includes keeping the operating system, software, and firmware up to date and installing security updates as soon as they become available. Finally, you should consider the potential vulnerabilities of the system, such as weak passwords, unsecured network connections, or a lack of encryption, and take steps to address these issues and ensure the security and integrity of the captured footage. Regular penetration testing and vulnerability scanning can also be used to identify and remediate vulnerabilities in the system. Not considering cybersecurity measures can result in the surveillance system being compromised, leading to the loss or alteration of footage. Additionally, not having adequate cybersecurity measures in place can result in the unauthorized access or manipulation of the surveillance system, further reducing the effectiveness of the surveillance system, which is not what we want. The last mistake that I would like to consider here today is the mistake of overlooking periodic maintenance. Regular maintenance is an essential aspect of maintaining the proper functioning of surveillance systems. This can include a variety of tasks depending on the type of system and its components. Some of the key tasks that may be included in a maintenance schedule for surveillance systems include cleaning the cameras and lenses. Dust, dirt, and other debris can accumulate on cameras and lenses, which can affect image quality and cause blurriness or distortion. Regular cleaning of these components can help to ensure that the captured footage is clear and of high quality. Checking for loose connections. Loose connections can cause interruption in the signal and in the functioning of the system. It is important to check all connections, including power, data, and network connections, to ensure that they're secure and functioning properly. Updating software. Surveillance systems may include a variety of software components such as operating systems, firmware, and application software. Regularly updating this software can help to ensure that the system is secure and has the latest features and bug fixes. Checking for physical damage. Surveillance system may be exposed to environmental factors such as high temperatures, humidity, and physical impact. You should periodically check for physical damage and make sure that the system is protected from these factors. Regularly testing the system. Regularly testing the system is aimed at making sure that it is functioning properly and that captured footage is clear and of high quality. This can include testing cameras and lenses, network connections, and other components of the system. It is important to have a regular maintenance schedule in place and to ensure that the system is being properly maintained. This schedule should include regular checkups and maintenance tasks that are specific to the system. It is also crucial to have a designated person or team responsible for the maintenance of the system and to keep track of the maintenance tasks and their outcomes to ensure that the system is being properly maintained in the first place and to identify any issues that need to be addressed. Overlooking maintenance can result in an interruption in the system, as it could lead to the gradual degradation of the system's performance. Furthermore, not maintaining the system can also result in untimely equipment failures, resulting in costly repairs or replacements, or should I say unnecessary replacements. Here are some final and concluding thoughts following today's podcast episode. The installation of surveillance systems is crucial for ensuring security. However, we have listed some of the common mistakes that can be made during and after the installation process that can greatly reduce the effectiveness of the system. To ensure a successful installation of a surveillance system, it is important to conduct a thorough site survey, consider all factors that could affect the performance of the system, and have a regular maintenance schedule in place. Additionally, it is recommended to seek professional assistance in the installation and maintenance of a surveillance system. Or, if you are a professional surveillance system expert, you can refer to today's podcast episode to make sure that you have some sort of a checklist so that you're making sure that you're servicing your customer in the best way possible. By avoiding these common mistakes and taking the necessary steps to ensure a successful installation, the surveillance system can effectively enhance the security of any facility and help deter, detect, and respond to any security incidents. That concludes today's episode, and I hope to see you, or I hope that you join me next week for another exciting, informative, educational, riveting episode. Thank you.